Today we're going to talk about building a show like this, RankBrain, and why I build so many companies. Hey everyone, this is Adam Steele, and this is the Steele Entrepreneur Show. Today I've got a few topics I want to talk about. I don't have necessarily any tweets to pull from. However, what I wanted to do this time around is I went out to friends and colleagues and got some of their questions. So folks that I've worked with for a long time who've seen me over the last 6 years building, and they just so happen to have some questions of their own. So I picked a few of my favorites, and we're just gonna run with those. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is building a show like this. I'm finding it really interesting. I'm finding it super challenging. It's not something I've ever done before. I've never worked with film before, never done any editing before, other than just, some stuff that maybe I did on like on my phone or whatever, like Snapchat or Facebook video or something, like really quick little 3-minute kind of things, but never anything like this. And what's interesting and what I didn't expect, and what I really now appreciate, I appreciate so much more what goes into a show like this. Some of the shows that I've watched, some of the shows that you guys have probably watched, there's a lot that goes into it. Like, just to get us to episode 2, we're on episode 2 now. I don't know, probably 60 hours of just prep. And that's like building a Facebook page, that's setting up YouTube properly, that's doing a little bit of work on Snapchat, that's getting all the imagery, so having my designer get everything ready, that's setting up the newsletter, setting up the template, setting up an autoresponder, setting up, and that's all via like MailChimp. And what else? Putting together a dissemination strategy, which is basically like the distribution of the content when it's ready. Which is actually what led me down this road. Is I was creating a dissemination strategy, a content dissemination and repurposing strategy for one of my clients. And it just hit me, I don't actually know how to do this. And so I'm selling something that I don't actually know how to do, which is kind of the strategy I've had, pretty much from day one. I've been sort of by the seat of my pants, and very fortunately I've had a few clients along the way who've trusted me enough to take some chances, take some risks with their hard-earned money, and we've all learned sort of along the way. So what I figured, the whole sort of basis behind this show was, okay, let's just try this. Let's see if I can do it, and then maybe I'll do it for this client, for this other fellow. But now I'm just seeing it as sort of an opportunity to journal a little bit. So that's kind of the selfish thing for me, but also maybe teach a few people along the way. Maybe there's something I know that a few other folks don't, and so that will be really valuable. But going back to you creating the show, we've really had to come up with a whole strategy for how to make this work, how to get it in front of as many people as possible. And one of the things, going back to dissemination, we've got this really neat plan where we will take the video, so the video that we're shooting right now, and then we're going to upload it to Facebook, or rather to YouTube, and then we're going to grab that video and upload it, not the YouTube video, but rather the video itself, and upload that to Facebook, because we know that Facebook much prefers video that is native to them. Their algorithm prefers it. It treats it better. It performs better. We're going to create a podcast from it. So we're going to rip the audio track. And this was a whole other learning process, is setting up SoundCloud, setting up iTunes, setting up Stitcher, setting up, Google Play, I want to say. Setting up the RSS, setting up the system to rip the track automatically and then upload it. We're going to grab clips from it, so something to use as sort of preview material a few days out from the episode. So just picking the right clips to use, pictures and quotes for Instagram, all kinds of things. Like, it's endless. From every episode, there is going to be so many angles and so many ways that we can that we can reach you guys, our audience. And hopefully we will be able to reach you in a way that is native to you, something that is natural, in whatever, sort of reaching out to you in a way that that you're used to, that you like digesting content, whether that is on Snapchat, whether that is on Instagram or Facebook or a podcast while you're working out at the gym. So, there's a lot that goes into it, and I'm appreciating it more every day. And I hope that some of you will reach out and have some questions, and maybe we can learn from each other a little bit. But as I promised, this show is about being in the trenches and what we're doing day to day and how we did it and how you can learn from the mistakes that we made along the way, building it. So. I think there's some valuable stuff to learn there, and I highly recommend giving it a shot. Now, as for the questions, we have 2 questions that I picked, and the first one is with regards to RankBrain, which is basically the question was, what is RankBrain? What is your take on RankBrain? And what are you doing about it? What are you doing differently about it? And you'll probably notice that I'm going to cover SEO probably more than anything else, more than social media, more than anything. And for those of you that know me, that's appropriate because that is what I've done. That's what I do. That's what I've done for the last 6 years. I am a practitioner of SEO. And so I've done a little bit of reading into it. I've been looking for signals, something to tell me that Google's been saying that they've been rolling it out slowly, and quite honestly, I haven't seen anything. It's really quite strange. I haven't seen any of rankings be necessarily impacted. It could just be that my particular SERPs or search engine result pages aren't impacted by it yet. But we're in so many different SERPs that it would be kind of strange that I wasn't. Now, RankBrain is basically, it's a piece of Hummingbird. Hummingbird being the overall algorithm. So it's just a component of it. And they're saying that it is the 3rd most important ranking signal next to content and links, which we've always basically known. And what it does essentially is it is this machine learning piece of AI that makes it, helps Google parse queries, helps Google determine and find what you're looking for when you're searching for it. And one of the things that came to mind right away when I started learning about it was that it's kind of like, I think about like latent semantic indexing, so LSI, and how we've, as SEOs and as content creators with the purpose of ranking in Google, have been doing for quite some time, is we want to kind of think about what else might they be searching? What else is Google going to associate our content with? So if we're writing about renovations, for example, well, it would probably make sense to have words like remodeling or maybe fixer-upper. That's probably a terrible one, but so that and include that in our content. So we're hitting different types of words instead of just hammering renovations, renovation, et cetera, throughout our content, that we're hitting these other angles. So I think what you do, my take on it, is quite simply do what we've always been doing. Write better content, write more thoughtful content. Think about what is somebody looking for, what might they be searching. Don't focus so much on what is the keyword volume of this, how many people are searching that. Focus on what are they going to be searching. Anticipate how they're going to word it and make it easy for Google. Spoon feed them. It's like with schema, for example. We, among other reasons, one of the reasons that I focus on schema for is I'm spoon feeding Google. I'm telling Google, this is what I'm talking about, right? I'm not depending on Google to try and figure it out, because Google is just a machine. It's a very smart machine, but at the end of the day, it's just a machine. So I think it's really important to do what you can to just tell them what you're doing. Tell them what it is you want to rank for, what people are searching for. And I can't imagine a better way to sort of deal, I guess, for lack of better phrasing, deal with RankBrain is just do what we've been doing. Make it easy for Google, and that's it. So that's my take on RankBrain. Now, the next question, I've got this one a lot, and I've answered it a lot, and I don't tire from answering it because I think it's just a really interesting question. It's a really interesting answer. The next question is, why do I have so many companies? Why have I started so many companies in a very short period of time, in 6 years? I don't actually have a count, but I would say it's probably upwards of 10 different companies, 4 or 5 of which we're actively running and are mostly, I think there's a couple exceptions, but mostly profitable right now. And I like this question because it gives me an opportunity to really drive home a point, and to talk about this parallel that I find really interesting. The parallel that I've started to strike more and more this year as I've been training jiu-jitsu. And one of the things that has become so true is jiu-jitsu is honest. Jiu-jitsu it's repetitive. And in business, it's kind of the same, or at least in the way that I do business, it's kind of the same. With respect to it being repetitive, all these businesses I'm starting, that's me being repetitive. That's me doing the same thing over and over and over again, building business after business after business and getting better at it. Every business after is a little bit better in some way. Likewise with jiu-jitsu, what separates a blue belt, let's say, and a black belt, it's just repetition. They know the same stuff more or less. They know the same moves more or less. But one person has done it 1,000 times more than the other person. And so that's why they're better, more or less. I think the same thing is absolutely true in business. And with regards to it being honest, jiu-jitsu being honest and business being honest, I was reminded the other day of a session I had last weekend where I'd spent the week just learning all these new techniques, or at least a couple techniques, and I was ready on Saturday to try them out. And so we did some open sparring, and I went up against training partner Steven, and he choked me out over and over and over again. And it was just so obvious. It was so clear to me that I was not nearly as prepared or ready or good as I thought I was going into that. Likewise with business, it's obvious, it's apparent. Everybody can see, my team can see, my competitors can see, my clients can see where I'm failing and where I'm doing well as well. So it's just a really honest representation. It's humbling. It's just so transparent, and I really dig that. I really like that I can do something and get immediate feedback. I can put it all out there, and everybody sees it. So I think that's why I start so many, is because I need that honesty. I need it all the time, and I need that repetition. Because I can't, sometimes it takes me 3 times to get something right. Whereas a lot of people, they'll learn from their mistake the first time and that'll be it. They'll never make that mistake again. That's not my style. I have to make that mistake several times, at least 3 times before I actually learn. So that's the best way that I think I can answer that. So that's the show. That's the questions that I have today. As I had mentioned before, I kind of want to keep it pretty short. I don't want to go anywhere beyond 20-25 minutes. I want it to be really digestible, if that's a word, or easily digested, I suppose. And I hope that my answers brought you some sort of value, that you learned something. If that is the case, if you have any additional questions for me, I hope that you'll take 10, 20, 30 seconds and leave me any questions that you might have, thoughts that you might have in the comment section on YouTube, or just hit me up on Twitter. I'm always happy to answer any questions. I'll have my handle in the show notes, but also for your convenience, it's Adam G. Steele. So feel free to reach out to me anytime. And again, if we're bringing the value, then I hope that you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel, and so that you can check out episode 3, episode 4, and the many that will follow. Thank you so much, guys. It has been an absolute pleasure.